pronunciated Sanatana. Sanatana. They refer to their practitioners of Hinduism refer to their religion as Sanatana Dharma. The word Satan is in that word Sanatana, and the word Satan is also in the word Santander Bank. And I had a dream about Santander Bank when it originated. Santander Bank came out of nowhere. They just start building branches. Oh, so what that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I'm only a man. And certainly I'm not a spiritual seer. So therefore, well, I can see specific things, but not like that. I can't look into the future, okay? If I told you something with authority about any bank, I would be a falsehood because I'm only a human. And neither is Christ giving me visions. I'm not like the prophets of old. I'm not going to diminish myself and say I'm any less, but I'm not giving those visions like Isaiah and Daniel and so forth. But I don't know about Santander Bank. So their religion, Sanatania. So see, that word Satan is a very old word. Now, it's in English, but I want you to understand that word Satan is already in Hebrew comprehension. Just like the word trust, Trust, is already in Hebrew comprehension. Okay? So, what I need you all to understand is that word, Sanatana, has been around for a very long time. Okay? Satan just means adversary. It's not his name, it's his title. But we have to understand, the Shaitan, he also fell with other fallen angels. He got kicked out of the holy mountain. He still is the principality of the air, meaning Satan is the controller of this world. Okay, the principality of the air. Now, it's also going to say, okay, so it's also going to say, which refers to the, so this word, Sanatana Dhamma, the external Dhamma, which refers to the idea that its origins lie beyond human history. So Hindu believers, just as well as Muslim believers, just as well as believers of Catholicism and believers of Christianity, you all believe, even believers of Buddha, you all believe that the origins of your religion lie beyond human history. As revealed, the Hindu texts, Islam and Christianity make the exact same claims, but these claims are false. So we also have to understand that Christianity itself, so people say, well, so Christianity teaches the Bible. So how are you going to say that Christianity is not a real religion, or whatever the case may be? Well, the slave masters gave our ancestors their perception of the set-apart scriptures. I want to say that again. The slave masters gave our ancestors the perception of the set-apart scriptures. Okay? So, I want you all to understand that certain things about Christianity, such as, you can get hit and not hit back. And that's foolishness. So, or some Christians believe that they can eat pork as long as they pray on it. Okay. Now, I got a few Christian anthems in here. Okay. I call it the Christian anthem. Okay, that many of you follow, and is a guideline for many of you all. And I want you to understand that many Christian concepts are very new. They don't go back to the Christ. They don't go back to Yahusha, because Yahusha was a hardened man. And Yahusha didn't come down here and tell anybody they can eat pork. And Yahusha didn't tell anybody that they couldn't defend themselves. And Yahusha never said that if you just believe in Jesus and you can sword fight and you can conduct witchcraft and you can slander on people and all you like, you can go out and engage into orgies and continue to fornicate and continue to commit adultery and constantly love these sins without fear, blatantly without fear, and get away with it. Christ never said anything like that. Paul, not even Paul said that. And the rest of the disciples, they didn't say that either. Okay? So, I just wanted to make that a claim, because many religions, they claim that their roots go way back. Well, what you need to understand is that the roots of all religion is the truth. The roots, so-called, of every religion is the scriptures. The first, the scroll of Genesis and the Torah and the writings and the prophets. Those are the origins of every religion. Now, Hinduism is so-called the oldest religion, but that's my point. So the point that I wanted to make is what I study, is it a religion? Well, Hinduism is the oldest religion. See, I wanted to make the point this way. Hinduism is the oldest religion. So if what I study is religion, then what I study would be false, because Hindu is making the claim that it is the oldest religion. So we know that Moses existed before Hinduism. We know that the commandments of God exist, the commandments of Elohim. I'm going to begin to refrain from that word God, because of who it really is. So we also want to have an understanding that the Ten Commandments they predate Hinduism. Okay, the Hebrew scrolls, the Book of Enoch, all of these things predate Hinduism. Now, Hinduism is pretty old. Let's not get it twisted. Hinduism is pretty old. Hinduism is about 3,000 years old. That's pretty old. That's almost half as long as this planet's been around. So Hinduism is a pretty old religion. Okay? But in any event, it came from the wiles of the devil. Okay? Now, so first I'm referring to Islam, and then secondly, I'm going to refer to Christianity. And nobody will be disrespected in this message. Okay? So, Islam itself was historically called Mohammedism in the English-speaking world. So, why was Islam originally called Mohammedism? Well, because when Muhammad was being trained by Catholic priests, there was a notion that there were to be a Messiah like Yahusha for the non-quote-unquote Christian Arabs, or shall I say the non-Christian believers. Okay, so I don't want to get into too much as to the purpose of Islam, but just to give you an FYI that it was once called Mohammedism. And basically this was because the word Christian comes after the word Christ. So the religion is being named after a man, just as the concept of the truth is named after Christ. So the concept, or the religious concept of the scriptures, is being named after Christ. So Christ, the reason why I use the word Christ, because everybody knows what that word means, but Christ comes from the term Christo, which is it's a false term. It means anointed, but it has Roman Catholic roots, that name. So as Christianity is called Christ, Mohammedism was, as, how can I say it? Yes, Christianity was named after Christ. Mohammedism was named after Muhammad. So now the only difference between, well, not the only difference, but the big difference between Muhammad and Christ is that Christ was an ordinary man. Muhammad had a biological father. Christ didn't. And that's one of the, so why did I say that? So the first message, so there are two messages. There's one message to Muslims, and then there's a second message, and it's going to go out to Christians. So the first message is to the Muslim. Pork being an abomination did not originate in Islam. So it was not the construct of your religion that determined that pork was an abomination. Okay? So what I want to do, so the Quran did not proclaim what swine was. What I'm going to do is I would like to go to an older text, a text that existed long before the Quran, and we're going to go to Deuteronomy. We're going to go to so we're going to go. Okay, I'm going to go to Deuteronomy first. Now we know that the determination for swine was legislated an abomination by Christ, and this demand was given to Moses. So Moses came to and that's the reason why Moses is mentioned in the Quran, because the Old Testament confirms the New Testament, and the New Testament reveals the Old Testament. So there's no way you can get anybody to believe anything without inserting Moses into the equation. So now, what I want to do is I want to start with Deuteronomy chapter 14. Deuteronomy chapter 14. Okay? I'm going to go to a older text than the Quran. Okay? And it's going to say here, Deuteronomy 14, we're going to start from the top. And it's going to say, ye are the children of Yahuwah, your power. Who is he speaking to? He's speaking to the Israelites. He's speaking to the black men and women that we call the so-called Negro today, and the so-called Puerto Rican, and the so-called Dominican, and the so-called many of the Africans over there in Africa, African diaspora, and many of the Caribbeans over there in the Caribbean diaspora, and in Canada and in Europe, and so forth and so forth. Whether we have accents, speak different dialects, whatever the case. And it's going to say, ye are the children of Yahuwah, your Elohim. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. Okay? It's going to say, for thou art an set apart people unto Yahuwah. So why is he giving us these instructions? Well, Christ didn't give us these instructions for no reason. He gave us these instructions because we are a set-apart people, a special people unto him. We're a special people unto Yahuwah thy power. And Yahuwah hath chosen us to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all nations that are upon the earth. So you Negro, about the four corners of the planet, we are supposed to be above all the nations upon the face of the earth. Okay? Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. Now, I want to explain where the Muslims go wrong. Many Muslims, not all Muslims. There are some Muslims, like I go to, and once again, no one will be disrespected in this message. There is a Muslim restaurant that I go to quite often. They don't sell specific things. Of course, they don't sell pork. We know that. We know they don't sell pork. But there are some Muslims that they understand specific things, right? Because the objective of Islam is to take heed into the scriptures. You're not a true Muslim if you neglect the scriptures. If you neglect the law of Moses, you are a false Muslim. Okay? So I just want you all to understand these things. So what he's going to say here is that thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. Now, it's going to say here, these are the beasts. Now, Christ is going to determine, he's going to make determination of what our people are supposed to eat and what our people are not supposed to eat. Now, I'm not going to read the entire chapter, but he says, these are the beasts which you shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the pig, not the pig, the pygarg. I have to study and see what that is, but and the wild ox, and the chamois, and every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the cleft into the claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat. Nevertheless, these ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud. So these are the animals that our people, black people, all black people, is commanded not to eat. Okay? That chews the cud. Okay? That ye shall eat. Among them. Nevertheless, now, that you shall not eat. Okay? Or them that divide the cloven from the hoof, as the camel. So the camel is not food. The rabbit, the hare, the coney, for they chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. Therefore they are unclean unto you. And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. So, see, something about a swine. See, the pig they have tunnels that run down their legs. Swine, sows, SOWs, have tunnels that run down their legs, so they can let all the death, the abominable things, because pigs eat anything. They eat shit. They drink piss. Pigs will eat throw up. They'll eat throw up. If you take some bowel movement, urine, and throw up, and then put maggots in it, a pig will eat it. I don't believe that pigs have taste buds. You can double check that. But I know they don't have sweat glands. So they need tunnels to go down their legs because of their filthiness. their filthiness. So do understand that swine doesn't have sweat glands. Does anybody understand the magnitude of that? If you are a Christian, do you understand the magnitude? Because many of you say that you're a Christian, yet you eat abominable swine. And many of you, and I'm going to go to your anthem, but I'm not speaking to the Christians, not right now. So, why am I reading this? Because the Muslim, they do have common sense enough to stay away from the ratchet swine. Okay? But this is where many of your common sense fall short. Okay? If you continue to listen. So, it's going to say after it says, don't touch the carcass of the swine. It's then going to say, these ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales shall you eat. And whatsoever hath not fins and scales ye may not eat. It is unclean to you. So many of you whom are Muslim, you're only supposed to eat what has skins and scales. Which you're only supposed to eat in the water, which have fins and scales. Trout, whiting, flounder. You're not supposed to eat catfish. Catfish eat dead things. Catfish is an abominable animal. And he's nasty. He's disgusting. If anyone I've eaten catfish one time. It was horrible. And you can taste the abomination. I remember I used to eat crabs. I used to love, not crabs. I never was a crab eater. But I used to love shrimp, man. Crab cakes. I used to like crab cakes. Until one day, the spirit came upon me. And crab cakes and those things started making me sick. I used to eat scallops. Scallops started making me sick, literally. That's because the spirit came upon me. See, the laws of God will come upon you, not just in deed and not just to hear, but the Spirit of God can lay on somebody also and teach him or teach her what is an abomination unto him or her. Okay? But now I want to go to Leviticus 11 because of Leviticus 11 is going to pretty much give you Muslims a better understanding of what's going on. Leviticus 11, and it says, and the swine, though he divide the hoof, and he be cloven-footed. So let's skip past that. This is Leviticus 11, and we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 11. We're going to go to verse 9, and I want you Muslims to pay very close attention. These shall you eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers. Them you shall eat, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas, and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters. They shall be an abomination to you. He wanted to make sure that he covered everything, because he says, and all that have no fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters. And then he's going to say, and of any living thing. See, he gotta, because niggas don't listen. So he had to, and he's still not done. So he says, of any living thing which is in the waters. He wanted to be specific. Nothing else but fins and scales. How you women say it? Period. Nothing else but fins and scales. That's it. If it don't got fins and scales, it is an abomination unto you. It is ratchet. It is below filth. Crabs and shrimps and all of these things, they're bottom feeders. Okay? There's no way around that. You're supposed to take care of your temple, right? All of us. They're bottom feeders. Shrimps, crabs, all of these things. They're an abomination unto you. Right? And then he's not done. He's going to say, they shall be even an abomination. He said it again. They shall be even an abomination to you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. So, in order to eat something, you have to kill it, right? It doesn't matter if you throw the crab in the water while he's alive. He's still going to be dead when he's done being cooked. But ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. So when you see a dead crab or you see a dead lobster, it is supposed to, you shall have it in an abomination unto you. Whatsoever hath no fin, he's going to say it one last time. Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. An abomination. You do not get to eat what you want to eat. According to an older manuscript than your scroll. Okay? Every religion comes from the scriptures. Every religion derives from the scriptures. There's no religion on this planet that hasn't derived from the scriptures. The concept of the concept of the religion, the perception of the perceptions of the religion, some false, some true, but no religion did not come. Every religion comes from the scriptures, from the set apart grail. Not grail, from the set apart scroll, I'm sorry. Grail. From the set apart scroll. Okay? Now, the second message is going to the Christians. Okay? Okay. So, the second message is to the Christians. Now, it's going to be a little longer for the Christians because, so I spoke about the two issues. I just want you all in Islam to understand, my brothers and sisters, that I have a compassion for you all, and I do love you all. And I just want you to know that it is not the legislation of your Quran that determined that swine was an abomination. Okay? A scroll older than your scroll, much older than your scroll, had already made that legislation, had already made that determination, which is why Muhammad made that determination. Okay? But he didn't make all the determinations, right? So, probably, most likely, he didn't follow the scroll in its entirety, and that's because he had handlers and he had Catholic priests who guided him in his Mohammedism. Okay? So, now, the second message is to the Christians. I want you all to understand this. You Christians have a severe problem. Okay? And I'm going to read a few Christian anthems. I'm going to read a few anthems. The reason why many of you Christians think that you are able to eat swine. Okay? So now, second message is to the Christians. And I want to read one of your anthems. So the Christians have two anthems, okay? You have two anthems, and I'm going to read one of your anthems. Let me return.